Hello everyone, myself Sandeep Bhaskar Patil from Jayantrao Savan College of Engineering, Pune. I am presenting here a week 3 and week 4 video for an international FDP on environment and sustainability. My subject is the sustainable materials. So in the week 1 video, uh, the sustainable materials I have introduced are the bamboo, wood, hemp, wool, linen, straw, clay, stone, sand, beeswax, and the coconut material. So some fun facts of these sustainable materials are, let us see one by one. Suppose number one is a bamboo. So it used for building houses, road reinforcements. Black bamboo shoot help treat kidney diseases. Bamboo fabric is breathable, thermoregulating, wicks moisture better than the polyester performance fabrics. It can be used as a natural food preservatives, can be used as a bamboo vinegar. The second sustainable material is wood. We know that it gives the low carbon footprints. It can replace the materials like steel, aluminum, concrete, and plastics. The strength for weight ratio 20% higher than structural steels and 4 to 5 times better than non reinforced concrete in compression. The wood as an insulator is 15 times better than the masonry, 400 times better than steel, and 1770 times better than the aluminum. Let us see the number 3 sustainable material is the hemp. The hemp seeds are highly nutritious. It is the only plant that contains all of the essential fatty acids and amino acids required for body functions, including metabolism, the skin, the brain, and the heart. Hemp can be also used as a natural ingredient in lotions and many other skin, hair, and cosmetic products. The hemp oil can be used to create the biofuels to replace gasoline for diesel engines. Some of the other sustainable materials are wool, linen, and straw. Let us see one by one. The wool, it is a naturally high ultraviolet protection which is much higher than most synthetic and cotton. It is biodegradable. The large capacity to absorb moisture, vapor, and sweat. Also, a single fiber can be bent 20 times 20,000 times without breaking and still have the power to recover and return to its natural shape. Next sustainable material is a linen. The linen is made from fibers of the flax plant. The scientific name is a linen uctcm, 2 to 3 times stronger than the cotton. It is a licensed oil used as a pigment binder in oil paints and as a plasticizer and hardener in the putty. Next one sustainable material is a straw. It is environmentally benign and it sequesters carbon as all these sustainable materials are also sequester carbon. Its use as a carbon neutral energy source is increasing rapidly. The briquettes are biofuel substitute to coal. It is used to bind clay and concrete. Can be used in compostable food packaging and will biodegrade in a commercial composting environment. Next fun facts of these some other sustainable materials: clay, stone, and sand. We know the heat and electrical insulators are made from the clay. The bentonite clay widely used as a mold binder in the manufacture of the sand casting. Rock and stone are also used for wall cladding and for floors and paving. Sand is used as a binding and bulking agent in the manufacture of the brick, cob, concrete, and mortar. Next is a beeswax material. It is a natural alternative to paraffin wax. Beeswax is used in many skincare products because it provides a protection against irritants while still allowing the skin to breathe. Beeswax candles are often especially helpful for those with asthma and allergic patients to the dust. Coconut. We know that it is an excellent moisturizer. It also has anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. It is used in ropes, mats, doormats, brushes, and sacks, as caulking for boats, and as stuffing fiber for mattresses and pillows. It is used in horticulture, in plotting compost. In the week one video, we have discussed about the sustainable material, the list of the sustainable material, and some fun facts about the sustainable materials. In the week two, we have studied some of the ISO standards related to these sustainable materials. So, what are those ISO standards? So, those are nothing but the ISO 15392 2008 standard, ISO 26000 2010 standard, ISO 20121 2012 standard, ISO 204002017 standard, ISO TS 260302019 standard. So let us see these standards one by one. The first one is the ISO 15392, that is 2008 standard. The status of this standard is withdrawn now. Its publication date is in the 2008, in the fifth month of the calendar. It a number of pages or 20. It identifies and establishes general principles for sustainability in building construction. It is based on the concept of sustainable development as it applies to the life cycle of buildings and other construction works from their inspection to the end of the life. Also, the ISO 1539 to 2008 is applicable to buildings and other construction works individually and collectively, as well as to the materials, products, services, processes related to the life cycle of the buildings and other construction works. Next standard is ISO 26000 So it is published in 2010 in the November month as a 106 number of pages. This ISO 26010 is intended to assist organization in contributing to sustainable development. It is intended to encourage them to go beyond legal compliance, recognizing that compliance with the law is a fundamental duty of any organization and an essential part of their social responsibility. It is intended to promote common understanding in the field of social responsibility and to complement other instruments and initiatives for social responsibility, not to replace them. In applying the ISO 26000:2010, it is advisable that an organization take into consideration societal, environmental, legal, cultural, political, and organizational diversity, as well as differences in economic conditions, while being consistent with the international norms of the behavior. Next standard is ISO 20121 in 2012. It is published in 2012. So it is applicable to any organization that wishes to establish, implement, maintain, and improve an event sustainability management system, ensure that it is conformity with its stated sustainable development policy, demonstrate voluntary conformity with ISO 20121 to 2012 by first party, that is self-determination and self-declaration, second party, that is confirmation of conformance by parties, third is an independent third party. So it has been designed to address the management of improved sustainability throughout the entire event management cycle. Next one is ISO 20400 2017, published in 2017. It provides guidance to organizations independent of their activity of size on integrating sustainability within procurement as described in ISO 26000. It is intended for stakeholders involved in or impacted by procurement decisions and processes. Next is the ISO TS 26030 standard. So this document provides a guidance on using ISO 26000:2010 in the food chain by focusing on the major aspects from its 7 core subjects, namely organizational governance, human rights, labor practices, environment, fair operating practices, consumer issues, and community involvement and development. The main objective is to help organizations in the food chain, regardless of their size or location, to draw up a list of recommendations and move towards to more socially responsible behavior. So let us see some of the advantages of using these sustainable materials. It reduces the impact on natural environment biodiversity. It used to reduce use of finite resources in accordance with achieving sustainable eco footprint. It reduces energy, water inputs to reduce embodied energy and water. It reduces waste generated during the material life cycle flows. It up where available up from local materials produced to reduce transport energy impacts. It enhances human health, contribute to a healthy indoor air quality, for example, low work emission, toxicity, flammability in the event of fire. Also, there will be no issue from appraisal committee team to give environment clearer for those who built buildings using most of the sustainable materials. So, video outcome for this week 3 and week 4 presentation is after learning through this video, student will be able to number one, discuss properties and applications of the sustainable materials mentioned. Number two, select the environment and sustainability standards. Number three, calculate eco footprint of household emissions and accordingly act to reduce it. Next one is the ecological footprint. The ecological footprint is essentially a measure of human consumption. Ecological footprint analysis compares human demand on nature with the biosphere's ability to regenerate resources and provide services. Globally, the ecological footprint is larger than the Earth's biocapacity. It is sometimes referred as a carrying capacity by about 50%, and this margin is growing. According to the national accounts for the year 2014, the total Earth's biocapacity is estimated at 1.7 global hectares GHA per person, but humanity's ecological footprint has reached 2.6 GHA per person. Correspondingly, the number of planets demanded by all human is now 1.53 planets and it's still growing. So let's see this figure. It shows the world ecological footprint from 1961 to 2009. So you can see that in the 1961, we are using the total resources of 0.5%. That is 50% of the earth resources we are using at 1961 or in between zero point 0.5 to 1. But in 29, it goes near to 1.5 earths of the total resources. So how to measure these ecological footprints? The ecological footprint measures how fast we can consume the resources and regenerate the waste. Okay. So we are saying that the current world footprint of our ecological footprint is about 1.7 Earth we are using right now in 2018. So this is the overshoot day report of the Earth overshoot day from 1969 to 2018. Sorry, 1969 to 2018. The source is Global Footprint Network National Footprint Accounts of 2018. So we can easily see here that in 1970 that we are using the less amount of the earth, or we can say the less resources we are using in near about to 1960 around, that is less than the one earth. And but in 2019 or 2018 we are using almost 1.7 of resources of the earth. So one of the question is how to calculate the carbon emission or footprint calculation or computation. or how we can reduce the CO2 emissions. So there are number of the calculators are available. So I have chosen one of the calculator. So in this calculator, you can say you can write the year, you can write the period, uh, that is April month. So I have taken one condition that I have taken the year 2020, the period, that is the month April. So I have chosen the 3 adults at my home and one kid. So we can easily calculate the carbon total carbon footprints in from this calculator. Okay, so let us see how we can calculate it. So we need to put the data in home energy, travel, and the household waste. So let us see this second figure on the right side. We can say that in the home energy, okay, that is the home energy, that I put that electricity and grid average is about 130 kilowatt hour per month, and I have chosen that the heating oil, that is light fuel oil, I have consumed is 5 liters. I supposed to consume 5 liters. And the LPG gas bottles, about 2 LPG gas bottles of about 45 kgs. Okay. Then I have choose some travel expenses. So if I use the motorcycle and use the 10 liters of petrol, that is regular for the month. Then if there is no air travel, and if I publicly transport by using city bus for 10 kilometer per 10 kms, okay, and say there is no accommodation. Also number 3 is the household waste, that help and reduction tips, that recycling, the recycle use paper, I choose that sometimes I recycle and sometimes not. I compost my food and garden waste. So I stole say that the neighbor. And what the rubbish thing is that I have waste to the I put the waste sent to the landfill, that about 2 kilograms. So let us, by putting all this data, let us see how much kg CO2 it calculates. So it calculates almost 201 kg CO2 then of this month of April 2020. So we can easily reduce this carbon emissions by some small things, by some small tricks, like where the electricity is not required, we can switch off the electricity. Where the dish plugs or TV plugs are not required, we can switch off those buttons. We can use the dryers instead of using the iron. We can make the our refrigerator in dual fridge mode also, rather than using the freezer. So a lot of simple tricks are there to reduce our electricity and ultimately to reduce the carbon footprint or ecological footprints. So for reducing the ecological footprint, there are only three fundamental ways that humanity can reduce its ecological footprint. The number one, it improve the bioproductivity of the nature. Number two, using harvested resources better. And number three, consume less. So I have taken one of the example of these of all of these sustainable materials, and I taken the material, the sustainable material as bamboo, and we can see that the distribution of the bamboo worldwide here in this figure one. And we fortunate that India had covered it, that we have producing the plenty of the bamboos. Okay. So in the, let us see in this table number 2, that is the energy required for production of the construction materials. So if the building material is a concrete and it has a density of 2400 kg per meter cube, so energy for production is 0.8 megajoule per kg. For the steel, it is 30 megajoule per kg. For wood, it is 600. For 600 density, it is 1 megajoule per kg. But for the material bamboo, also it has the 600 kg per meter cube density, but the energy for production is only 0.5 megajoule per kg. Thus the carbon storage and sequestration rates for the bamboo is 30 to 121 mg per hectare, and 6 to 13 mg per hectare per year respectively. Also, for using this bamboo as a sustainable material, there are some ISO standard. Okay, the name ISO 19624 2018, ISO 20215C1 2019. So let us see this one by one. So in this ISO 19624 2018, so it is published in the ninth month of the 2018 and it has a 22 number of pages. So this document specifies the grading procedures for visually and mechanically sorting round or pole bamboo for structural application using such fundamental elements. Visual sorting is based on observable characteristics of the pieces. Mechanical sorting is based on non-destructive measurement of properties known to correlate to characteristic values defining a grade. The grading procedures in this document can be used in a quality acceptance regime, although this document does not define or address acceptance criteria. This document is applicable only for bamboo that is graded in the season state. The second one is the ISO 22157-2019 standard. So it is published in first month of 2019. This document specifies the test procedures for specimens obtained from round bamboo curves. The data obtained from the test methods can be used to establish characteristic physical or mechanical properties to be used in structural engineering design or for other scientific purposes. This document provides methods for evaluating the following physical and strength properties like moisture content, density, mass per unit length, strength properties parallel to the fiber direction, compression, tension and bending, and strength properties perpendicular to fiber direction, tension and bending. It also provides methods to estimate the moduli of elasticity in bending, compression, and tension parallel to the fibers and bending perpendicular to fibers. So let us end this video by some sustainability quotes said by the well-known, renowned persons in the world. So once Mahatma Gandhi said that what we are doing to the forest of the world is but a mirror reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another. The Leonardo da Vinci said, "Small rooms or dwellings discipline the mind, large ones weakens it." And the Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." So these are some renowned person who say and at their times about the sustainability and the environment. So what exactly the environment and sustainability is? We need to reduce the carbon footprints. We heard that we need to reduce the eco footprint. We need to reduce CO2 emissions, the methane emissions, blah blah. We heard many things. Also, we have decided to tell this all these things and implement these things to the students. But why not we start this from our home? So let us start the sustainability awareness at our home first. So I believe that if you can do some small changes at your home only, and your some best friends or within your friend circle, if you can implement or start implementing the small things about the environment and sustainability awareness, definitely we are going to give the better future for the next generation. Here I have shown the picture of my nephews. They are holding the small plant in their hand, and by looking in this picture, I one thing came into my mind that we need to make sure that we have to give some healthy environment to this future generation. It is our responsibility. So we have to start it at from our home. So let us start the sustainability awareness from our home, from awareness at our friend circle, then to the students, and then ultimately to the our country. Thank you very much. So thank you for listening this video. I know this is not a full proof video. I can make some better of it. But I would like to thank the Dr. Vinay Kulkarni sir, Dr. Ekta Mishra, Dr. Vijay Vadai sir, the principal of the D.Y. Patil College of Engineering, who uh, enables us to for this FDP, or who or because of them we can study in this 1 month. uh, we can study, or we can know the how exactly the environment crises are there. So I would like to thank all this organizer committee, and I'm ending this my session here. Thank you very much.